In August, I read The Will of the Many.
And I got married.
But I'm not sure which one's the bigger deal.
Readers.
Reviewers.
Countrymen.
Lend us your ears.
And a huge thank you to all of our Patreons.
Thank you to the Pit Fighters, the First Swords, and all of the Bright Stars. Truth and Courage.
Hello and welcome to the channel today. I'm Will, this is my brother Ed, and today we're talking about what we read in the month of August. I actually think August was the busiest month of my entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised I actually got some reading done, and they were some bangers and mash. And you didn't have too much time to read either, did you?
No,
Ed?
I didn't.
You were pretty busy.
Unfortunately, I only read a few books, but I did have a very good reason, which is that Sadie and I finally tied the knot. What a day.
So, life, achievement, and, 10 out of 10 for August.
Yeah.
Books-wise, a little bit lower. But I think, you know what? I guess the life events are more important for this
wedding present from Sadie was Anduil, Flame of the West.
That is just Flame
who
of the
needs
West.
books when you've got Anduil,
Oh,
Flame
no.
of the West?
You will never
unite the Western peoples.
You will never cut cake the same way again.
I will never cut cake the same way again, unless I cut it again with that sword.
Maybe. So this might not be as long as our usual wrap-ups, because we're voracious readers, that sort of thing. Or usually Ed is, and I just kind of nod and say, I wish I read that. So let's talk about the books that we read in August. Ed, you start it off.
Well, you cannot have summer without a Western, and my Western this time was Streets of Laredo by Larry McMurtry. This is the final book, the book 4 of the Lonesome Dove series. Now, we obviously were following the characters of Augustus and Woodrow Call in Lonesome Dove, and then book 4 is the wrap-up of this story, the arc of Lonesome Dove. It was bittersweet. It was, of course, Larry McMurtry's kind of stalwart prose, his deep dive into characters, his intriguing development of plot, his hilarious and witty dialogue, and his complete immersion into the Western culture. But he always adds something different, a new layer to his writing. And what I love is that these Westerns, they don't feel like caricatures of Westerns of the period. They feel like real life people living in real life times. And there is a lot to laugh about, there's a lot to cry about, there's a lot of things that are in between. There are the mundane aspects of humanity at work here with Larry McMurtry's writing, but that's something I absolutely love to read. And he just does an incredible job of it. He just really understood how to write character.
In the quartet, where would you rank this?
I don't know. Obviously, it's Lonesome Dove at the very top, but it is also triple the page count of the other books, so well, not quite. Comanche Moon's a pretty hefty book. I would say it's, for me, the ranking would be Lonesome Dove, Dead Man's Walk, and then Comanche Moon and Streets of Laredo probably tied, but they're still fantastic books. Yeah, I'd give them all a solid between 4 and 4.5.
Very nice.
But they're just so much fun, as well as being incredibly poignant.
Very nice, Ed. Obviously, you give Lonesome Dove a bit above 4.5.
Yes,
Tiny bit more.
Sorry, a Lonesome Dove is
exceeding that by far.
What a book.
I've got an author who's sometimes compared to Cormac McCarthy in some ways. That is Cormac McCarthy. And I mean Larry McMurtry he's compared to. Not McCarthy's compared to McCarthy, because that would be quite an obvious
So who's compared
line.
to who?
I don't really... People just say, if you like this author, read them. And if you like that author, read them.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. Not this person coined it, now read this.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen anyway. Obviously, we can only go off our own experiences, Ed. Who would you say?
I would say if they didn't write in the same kind of landscape, then you wouldn't compare them.
Do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. They have a good way of writing character and dialogue, but I think they set out to achieve very different things. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I've not read anything
hard.
by McMurtry, so I can't really weigh in.
Well,
So
you
all
should
the pressure's
probably
on you.
catch up.
I probably should.
Yeah.
I probably
Anyway,
should. But
you
anyway,
talk.
The Crossing, Book 2 of the Border trilogy. I'm not going to say too much because I plan to, either on my own or with Ed, do a trilogy review of this series. The Crossing, preferred it to All the Pretty Horses.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, Wolf, Animal Companion, can you beat it? In a McCarthy book, not what I was expecting until you told me there's going to be a wolf in it, but I've never thought I'd compare... I'd see that kind of trope.
Yeah, but his delivery of it is so different to what you expect Cormac McCarthy would do.
There is a moment of a shift of perspective, and I was like, hold on a second.
God mode activated.
Honestly,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
S-tier. Yeah.
I mean, this was just beautiful, but also devastating. And I've just never seen McCarthy catch younger souls in such a great way. Before this, I'd read The Passenger, The Road, No Country for Old Men, Blood Meridian. And I'd say part of the point in books like Blood Meridian is no one is young. That's part of the point. But it's something that I didn't feel there was much range in, ages. You felt range in
Through
power,
experience as well,
which I think, not necessarily a gap, a weakness as such. It's just not what he was trying to do. Whereas he shows that he's capable of that in this series with book 1 and book 2. Shows that he can really show naivety and innocence and the journey between the two and losing that.
It's the McCarthy version of a coming of age story.
Which is devastating, but somehow maintains sentimentality.
Well, I think if you enjoyed this, you would probably enjoy Suttree.
Perfect.
Yes.
Because that's one that I really, for my own sake, for my dissertation, it sounds like something that I could really use.
Yes.
So I really want to enjoy it.
It's a bit more kind of what I imagine more kind of that Western literature, like Steinbeck and Faulkner, Hemingway, to kind of... Suttree leans more into them.
Because it's like a Byronic, he's like a lonesome figure.
But later on, McCarthy in his career kind of leans into his own genre.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Very nice, Ed. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'm very glad you enjoyed The Crossing, Will.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of weight on your shoulders saying this is his best writing.
Did. Well, we've gone from The Crossing, which is one of the best books of all time, to Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, which is unfortunately not one of the best books.
No vampires in The Crossing.
In my humble opinion, that this is a book that is written beautifully. It is like just looking at a diamond in the night sky, and it is so beautiful. But you can only look at that diamond for so long until I guess you find another sparkle somewhere else. And unfortunately, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil doesn't sparkle for very long. It kind of loses its sheen, its glamour, unfortunately, because it started off incredibly strong. There are multiple timelines starting off in the 16th century in Spain. I'm all over that. And it is the story of vampirism through the ages, through these... a group of characters, we'd say. I don't want to spoil too much because I think it is a book that a lot of people should try. It didn't land for me because the ending was just very unsatisfying. And it is quite a big book, and V. Schwab's style of writing is quite hard to dissect. I think it's quite chewy, but I like that with some things. But the prose did wear me out every so often. And the characters, they just did nothing interesting, nothing of kind of remote interest that would lead me to kind of consider their arc. Now, of course, they had several actions. There were some really bad shit going on as well. And there were some interesting things as well. But for the most part, the characters were making decisions that really didn't lean into what a good story should be, I think. And... although her prose was beautiful the majority of the time, I think mixing poor character development with a poor ending just left me feeling very cold. I know vampires should leave you feeling cold, but it drained me of blood.
So it was like a very chewy sweet that lost its flavour before you could swallow.
Exactly, a diamond that loses its sheen. Wow. Unfortunately.
Okay, let's go, Ed.
Yeah,
now the cheese. Leaves a lot to wish for, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've got... Next up, Unbound by Michael Miller, self-published fantasy, book 2 of the Songs of Chaos series, which kicks off with Ascendant. We both thoroughly enjoyed Ascendant, and this is book 2. I've beaten you to it, Ed, but I'm paving the way, macheting the path for you.
It's not like
because I'm going to beckon to you and say, follow me, Ed, because this is great.
I will follow you.
This is...
Into the mists of Babylon.
How do you say this without a spoiler? The way book 1 ends means that book 2 has to be a very different kind of story than book 1. It still has the hallmarks. It still has many of course, similar characters. But there are key structural changes. It's not single POV. Although there are moments in Ascendant that go to other POVs. But there's only one major POV. That changes here. Unbound becomes far more sprawling and epic and intense. Which I think is a great thing, because when something's just repeated over and over, it takes some of the magic away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got
less is more, Will.
You've got the characters of the first one really still expanding and growing and moving in new directions, and then you've got new figures, and then also some, but seeing them from their own head is just introducing a whole different lens to them.
Yeah.
I think it is really fantastic exploration. And there's one particular scene I thought was incredible. And it's interesting that in the acknowledgements, Michael Miller said there was one scene he thought really clicked. Because he said most of the time he thinks, what am I writing?
Yeah.
And just has to believe.
Okay.
But that scene he thought, you know what? I think I've done something here.
Nice.
And it was fantastic. I think that he's just got a knack for characterization, and it's another example of how self-published fantasy has gems that everyone should try. It can pave the way for traditional fantasy. And yeah, everyone should pick this up. I really,
I'm
really
looking
highly
forward to it now,
recommend it.
even more.
A great mix for those seeking some nostalgia for fantasy they read growing up, and also new readers as well, because it is not just copy and paste of what we've seen before. It's taken many of the hallmarks, many of the tropes that we've seen in traditional fantasy, and it's got hope and heart at the core, but it's also nuanced and fresh and unique. But it still has, instead of kind of the bogging down of just terrible thing after terrible thing of many modern fantasy books, hope is at the centre. So that is Unbound, book 2 of the Songs of Chaos series, and I'm really looking forward to carrying on with book 3. There are a few novellas as well, some you can access for free if you subscribe to Michael Miller's newsletter. And then book 4 is coming out later this year.
Love it.
Unbound.
Wait. Thank you very much, Will. And I also listened to Dungeon Crawler Carl, Gate of the Feral Gods, which we haven't actually got physically, have we?
We do not.
We should probably get it. But so that's book 4 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and I enjoyed it. And I didn't enjoy it. I'm being a bit moody this month, aren't I? But I feel like Dungeon Crawler Carl for me it's kind of lost the shine of it. I think the first book did such an incredible job of kind of opening, introducing the world to this alternative genre of fantasy, and it did such a good job. And I feel like Gate of Feral Gods, it's losing itself down the path. Basically, it is pretty crazy. There are some, of course, hilarious moments, some really great moments, some really poignant scenes as well. Quite a few that do stick out to the memory. And I'll be thinking about for a little while. But I just think the overall arc, it kind of, again, left me dissatisfied.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. You've read it. What did you think?
I was going to say, I was happier upon finishing it than you were. But it's been 3 or 4 months since I read it. And I have to say, out of all 4, it has really diminished from my mind the events that happened.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you think the others I've read even longer ago, because I read series in the right order. Funny that, but yeah, it hasn't stuck with me. I will be carrying on, but
I'll
I'd say
definitely finish
book
the
1 up
series.
there.
Yeah.
I thought book 2 is a big dip, then book 3 and book 4. But then I do remember book 2 more than book 4. So the test of time.
To me, it's just slowly going down, unfortunately. Hopefully this is the one I think that a lot of people says it kind of reignites the series.
Right.
I think a lot of people felt like it dipped 2 and 3.
Okay.
But 4 does spark it up a bit.
But not for you.
Not for me. Hopefully
sparks
number
going
5
on here.
sparks for me.
No sparks going on, but we will power on.
Will, talking of Will,
I read a book because it's got my name in it. It's called The Will of the Many. You should read it even if your name isn't Will, because this is fantastic.
I doubt anyone watching this has read it.
If you've read it because your name's Will, comment down below. We will get
I wonder how many
a
Wills
maximum of
subscribe to us.
2 Wills. But yeah, hopefully, let us know if your name's Will. We've really deteriorated, haven't we? We used to say, tell us your favourite reads of August, comment them down below. Now we say, if your name's Will and you watch us, comment down below.
Wait for the next video where we talk about the Eds.
Wow. Let's wait your turn, Ed. This is my moment.
Sorry.
The Will of the Many, epic fantasy, book 1 of the hierarchy. Book 2, the Strength of the Few, is coming out in a few months. It needs no introduction. It is one of the biggest fantasy books of recent years. I mean, it's at least 500 pages. Thought I'd beat you to that joke before you jumped in. But The Will of the Many, it is incredibly fast-paced. It is as twisty-turny as a very twisty-turny thing, and the political intrigue is unbelievable. There is just so much to unpack in The Will of the Many. The characters stand out, they've got great backgrounds, and I think that they really jump out of the page. I'm really looking forward to a bit more depth, further on, seeing how far that carries in book 2, but I have very high expectations. I purposefully waited until book 2. Well, at first I was like, I'm going to read it next month. And then when I had The Strength of Few is coming out in 2025, I delayed reading this until just before. So I can go in fresh.
Are you going to dive into Strength of the Few very soon?
Very soon. Very soon. Within
very
2
soon.
months. And Ed, we might actually...
That is not soon.
We might actually have a review before it comes out.
I highly doubt that.
what is going on.
Yeah.
But The Will of the Many is, in my opinion, worth the hype. You're always worried, or at least I am, jumping into a book that has so many lovers, so much hype about it, and so many fanatics that will hunt me down if I say a bad thing about it. But I'm glad to say that I don't have to challenge that at the moment. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Vis is a great central character. I love his arc. I love the, without spoilers, the subterfuge and the secrecy, which is a very unique aspect that you don't often see to this level. You often have, playing two sides, but it's often the main characters usually honest, aren't they? And it's people around them betraying them. With the exception of maybe Red Rising, this has got some similar hallmarks to that. The Will of the Many is great. It's worth the hype. I hope you pick it up, and I cannot wait to read The Strength of the Few. Been hearing some very good things about it from people like Smitty.
Absolutely, some very good things. And for me, I did it. Actually, Will, where's the Broken Binding edition?
Look right.
We should be using that one instead.
Well, they're both very nice, to be honest.
They are both fantastic. But the more, the merrier.
The more, the merrier.
And Dan Jones's Lionhearts. This is book 3 of the Essex Dogs trilogy. The finale that we've all been waiting for. And what a finale it is. To me, Dan Jones really is going for that Bernard Cornwell crown of historical fiction, contemporary. And it is incredible. His writing here has really elevated the series for me. Lionhearts does things very differently to previous 2 installments. It is mainly set in England, which we haven't actually seen from the first 2 books yet. But the band is in disarray, we'll say, and it's the way that characters kind of cross paths again is incredibly, at times, heartwarming, at times really, really sad and moving. Dan Jones was definitely locked in when he wrote this book. He was on the source. He's got the juice.
Yeah.
He was aura farming.
He was aura farming. Can I read the little snippet in the back? It says,
you can, yeah.
It says you can fight for your king or fight for your brothers. Ooh.
Damn.
Tension.
Nice. Love it. But Dan Jones does such a great job with Lionhearts. What he does is he's had to build this trilogy, and to have this finale, he has a great understanding of character, of depth, of arcs, of medieval swearing and cursing, of battle scenes that don't play on for too long, the time and place for historical details, when it gets in the way of the story and when it actually adds to the story, adds to the flair, and the way that characters can have a really meaningful impact in certain ways if you play them right. And the cast here were sublime. The whole set piece in England, there's a set piece towards the end, which was brutal, but it was also fantastic. And the ending, the last couple of pages, were so bittersweet that it left me begging for more. So hopefully Dan gets back to writing in this world sometime soon.
Very nice. And we just want, in this world, you mean like the real world, but fictional?
Yes, yeah.
I just hope we see more fiction from him.
Me too.
And if you haven't read any of the Essex Dogs, you can check out Ed looking very cool at the beginning of our review.
Wow, you've never said that before,
a few years
Will.
ago. So I do hope we get better with each year on YouTube, a tiny bit more eloquent.
We haven't worn armour this year.
No, we haven't. Actually, I did for Between Two Fires.
Was that
not
this
Between
year?
Two Fires? Sorry, Daughter's War. Yeah, it came out in February.
But we filmed it last
We did film it in December. There's quite a few months before that came out. But anyway, I'll be listening to Lionhearts in September. And you should check out our September TBR if you have not already. But on to my last read of August, and that was Dreams of Chaos by Shauna Lawless.
What a way to
her
top off
third
the month.
novella. Holy moly, featuring a key character that we love. I won't say his name in case that's a spoiler. I was just teetering on the edge.
I thought either Will's forgotten his name or he realises that he's Irish, so it doesn't sound the way it's spelt whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler, but I'm still not going to say it. Anyway, Dreams of Chaos, every single thing I've read by Shauna Lawless, she improves her craft with each book. I think she started great, then she's become amazing and fantastic and beyond. More superlatives on top of that. So I really cannot wait to read Daughter of the Otherworld, which is her new novel. Dreams of Chaos is a novella, as I've already said. Shauna Lawless, I think, is the best novella writer out there that I've encountered, in that she doesn't just give backstory to the characters we already know. She doesn't just supplement with that. She also provides new characters who stand out, or really serves the story and enriches it in a way which is so satisfying in a self-contained way.
They're so effective, and I don't remember a time reading a short story or a novella or, a novelette that is so effective that it has the same impact of a full-length novel that, you would have in another writer's hands. Even more so because I think her whole focus is on character and humanity and dynamics between people. And although you've got the fantasy going on in the background, the historical details going around in the foreground, the focus is on humanity, and you can relate to some aspects of people's personalities, and it just hits so hard.
It does. It really does. And all 3 novellas are fantastic. I will be buying that physical edition as soon as it is out. And I cannot wait to read Daughter of the Otherworld. The 7th book I would have read, or 7th work I would have read by her. She's becoming one of my most well-read authors.
Absolutely. And talking of Shaw and Lawless, hopefully I will be meeting her very soon. And there is a festival on at Butser's Farm.
Are you going?
I'm going, Will.
I'm so
which
jealous.
Is, I believe, near Portsmouth or Chichester, somewhere like that.
One of them.
And there is Con Iggulden there.
Yep.
LD Harper.
Yeah.
Shaun Lawless.
Oh.
Samantha Shannon.
No!
Lucy Holland.
Oh, great.
A smattering of other authors. And it's going to be great. So if you are going, let us know in the comments below. The last one for me was Stephen Graham Jones' Mongrels. Now, I recently read Buffalo Hunter Hunter, which is Stephen Graham Jones' novel.
I was so glad to recommend that to you.
I did. You did Machete the Path for me. And that is still my favourite book of the year. Probably my favourite book. Is it my favourite book of the decade? It very well could be.
Wow.
If you got rid of Shadow of the Gods, I think it would be.
Wow.
Anyway, I decided to read
Empire the Damned?
Oh, I know, that's tough. That's very close. That's very close.
The Daughter's War?
Also very close. Very close indeed. We should do video on that. So, Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones is his version of a werewolf family. Now, I've read some vampire works this year. Maybe Stephen Graham Jones even wrote one of them. I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to give any spoilers. No. But this is his werewolf version. And it is a story of a family. And it's a coming-of-age story of a young boy. He's about 12, 13 at the beginning of the book anyway. And they're not sure whether he's going to turn into a werewolf or not. And it's him living his life, just kind of waiting for something to happen. You get a lot of werewolf politics and dynamics and thoughtfulness into the way they live. Now, this book, the writing is genius. The storytelling is, the narrative style is brilliant. I love the prose, and I love the way that it all unfolds. But I shouldn't use the word story, because I wouldn't say there's actually a story here. There's not really a narrative arc for the characters to go on. It's just kind of, this is a little fact, a little tidbit. This is a detail. This is what they got up to that evening. And it doesn't feel like it has a meaty substance the more you get into the book. I would say this probably lacked a lot of horror elements that I was expecting, knowing that Stephen Graham Jones is a big slasher writer, is a big horror fan. Seeing the delivery of Buffalo Hunter Hunter left me thinking this is going to be, a real kind of, balls to the wall approach of mongrels, of werewolves. So, and it wasn't that, which I kind of wanted. So it feels a bit tepid to me, a bit lukewarm. But I would definitely read it if you haven't read too many werewolf books, if you haven't read Stephen Graham Jones's prose before. It's a really good starter book. It's nice, easy, an easy read. It's very short. It's a quick read. And it is still really enjoyable. It's got humour. It's got moments of poignance again. It's got a kind of a commentary on the outcast in America. And I really enjoyed the way that he wrote about it. I just think there could have been a better story in there somewhere. There's definitely a great skeleton there. But does the skeleton shift at moonlight? Well,
do you know what skeletons do when they walk into a pub?
They order a beer And a mop.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mongrels, still a really fun read. I just was left wanting for a little bit more, which I do think is a good problem to have. Rather than being like, I wish I
God,
had read
that's
that.
just wasted 17 hours of my life.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's all the books I've read. Is that all of
That's
yours?
all the books I've read.
So the biggest news of August was Ed and Sadie getting married.
Fantasy news, I got married.
Ed and Sadie got married.
Well, there was
I'll be
a sort
honest,
there.
I'm really out of the scene this month, so there might be really big news out there. I just don't know about it, to be honest.
I think the main news, which I haven't actually looked into properly, I haven't watched any videos on it, is the Audible drama.
I have seen titles, but I have no idea what's actually going on. So I'll have to do some research.
That is going to be our research now. But
it is. But Ed and
asking, are there any alternatives to Audible that people use? That is the question.
Yeah.
Because it's well and good saying they're doing this wrong, but if you have no alternative, that's what someone should start.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I think there are alternatives, but Amazon have. I don't know, but anyway, we'll watch the videos. We'll catch up. And Ed and I at the moment are talking about what we're doing on the channel for the rest of the year, because I return to uni.
Yes.
In just over a month, so we will be block recording a lot of things. So please let us know what you would like to see, specific reviews, specific themes. Like we did our favourite book ones of fantasy series.
Yeah.
Tell us things like that you'd like to see. We love talking about books we love. Tell us any themes you'd like us to go into in terms of, should we do a month about a specific type of book? Of course, we've got the horror month coming up, so we will be reading things like some more J. Christoph. But please let us know anything you would like to see. If anything crops up quite a few times, we will be certain to do it. And let us know if there's any books we're reading or that we've read this month that you'd like to see a dedicated review of. Anyway,
so this is your chance to really influence what can be on the channel the next few months. So it's really important for us that we're doing, reading stuff that you guys would like to see as well. Of course, we will always find time to read our own stuff as well. But if we can coordinate the same books and you want to see kind of dedicated reviews or comparisons or rankings or top 10s of anything, then now is your time to ask us.
And we are becoming much more not focused, but dedicated also to Instagram and TikTok, not to the detriment of YouTube. That's our main focus. But we're doing more mini reviews on there because can't do a long review for every single thing. We don't have all the time in the world. So we're doing mini reviews on there if you'd like to see more of us talking about books. I'm not sure why people would, but if they do, we're over on Instagram and everything else will be in the link below. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, let us know what you'd like to see on the channel and let us know your book of the month of August. And saying that, Ed, what was your favourite book of the month?
It had to be Lionhearts by Dan Jones. Just a fantastic finale to a medieval historical fiction series that I've been eating up.
Very nice, Ed. And my favourite was My Name of the Many. It's just
the will of the many, the Ed of the few.
It was riveting. It was engaging. It would not let go. It hooked into me. Peter Pan's rival would be proud.
On that note, truth and courage.
The Brothers Gwynne.
The Brothers Gwynne.